Alright, so I'm gonna start by saying messed up a little bit. Well, camera's about to die, but I did mess up a little bit. I'm gonna switch to the phone. Alright, so I know I was talking about I messed up on it. It didn't record on the phone when I switched over to it, so I'm just gonna tell you guys what I messed up on before the rest of the video. I did have some marks on here for the center line of the wheels. However, the front one didn't seem right to me, so I'm about to go through, re-level the car, double check the wheelbase, and get some final marks on it before I start cutting too much and trying to line up the cross member and have the wheelbase off. So that's kind of where I messed up with not marking it like I should have. I'll go over the solution in the next video because I have been making a little bit of progress on it, on how I'm going to measure it and how I'm going to get the right height so it's level or a slight rake to the front. But yeah, that's all I meant by I messed up a little bit, was not getting the permanent marks with the weight in the car. So I know the back's up a little bit higher than stock, but like I said, I have my niece's PT in the driveway still, so I have been taking some reference marks off of that, and I'll transform over to this car. But I'll go over how I'm gonna get it level with how it's sitting and adjust some stuff in the next one. Alright, so it's a tricky part. It is stable, so it's nice and stable. It is just on the two jack stands up front. The ramps are out. The only thing holding that cross member in right now are the strut bolts. So these 6 bolts, and I think it's time to undo them. So I don't like speeding it up. I like throwing it on the time lapse, but I'm just gonna speed the video up when it comes to this. So let me get those 6 bolts undone. Hopefully the K-member falls right out. Well, I guess we'll have one more bolt. Whatever. I think that's a Torx bolt too. Nope. So get this one off. And then, oh yeah, it's not going anywhere. Get that one off. That's probably 15. Triple checking. 17 probably. The steering linkage. So I'm gonna disconnect it from up here. Probably be the easiest way to do it. But we'll look up how to disconnect that, and then I'll pull everything out. But so far, our front end is off. I'm gonna set at the right ride height and go from there. All right, so that K-member is out. Took the wheels off. Eventually I'll throw this in the back of the truck and toss it at work one of these days. We're just off to the side for now. But yeah. yeah, pretty much ready to start cutting up and figuring out some angles. I think eventually the cross member will sit a couple inches higher to try to drop the car a little bit, but of course I'm gonna have to go through, triple check stuff and remeasure. I thought it was going to sit a little bit lower to line up with the frame rails, but I was completely wrong. So I was looking at the pictures that the company that that built the Hemi Cruiser sent me. So American Gasser Garage, I believe. I'll have to double check, but they don't have too many of the engine bay or how they did the frame, but you can see, you can tell there's a pretty good angle from the cross member. So it's going to have the frame rail running this way and then a pretty good angle to tie into the frame rail. So I'll probably come off of it a couple inches and then try to get that angle. So it might be a little steeper than this right here, but eventually with the plate there, it'll kick out a little bit, come down and tie into this. And then from the front, this one kind of angles in a little bit, but they have it built back out to tie into this over here. So eventually that's probably what I'll do, tie it back in to here somewhere, probably around here. So I have to go from here, come back out, and then eventually a lot of this will be cut out. So probably all of it, really. All of this will probably be cut out. And looking at the pictures, pretty much all this and all that will be cut out. Leave room for exhaust and the motor. I think if the motor is going to sit in somewhat center around here, might be back a little bit. So definitely firewall is going to have to get cut out and pushed back and mocked up. But I'll just show you some of the pictures. Depending on how it pulls up in camera, I might just add them in there. But let me pull up ones of firewall so you can see how much they cut away from the floor. Yeah, all that was cut out, so quite a bit. There we go. That's not what I was looking for, but yeah, you see how much they had to remove from the firewall. So yeah, I think pretty much probably from about here on back will be removed or cut out. All this will be removed and replaced with some sheet metal after a while. I'll probably talk to my buddy Zach about that. He does a lot of my powder coating and used to do a lot of my welding, and I know he has the bead roller, dimple dyes and all that, so I'll let him get creative with all that and get some measurements and get those made up, but that's going to be way down the line. For now, I just need to get this leveled and start taking some measurements. So once it's leveled and I know the wheelbase, which will be 103 inches from the center of the rear wheel to the center of the front wheel, and then the wheelbase and all that, get the right ride height and determine if I'm gonna go. I'll probably go 20s. I've seen them on a couple other PTs, but they're tight, so once everything's removed, it'll be a lot more room for them, and we'll go from there. And just because, why not? Everything else it's pretty common to find 20s, so if I could find something like stock Camaro wheels will fit this, because it is going Chevy bolt pattern. So if it's something like that and those would fit it. I'll throw those on, get some new wheels for the Camaro, and have people wonder like, why are there Camaro wheels on a PT? But we'll see when we get there. Let's jumping ahead. Right now I just need to do a lot of measuring, get a lot of points on the body and everything, run a guideline for the floor, and see where we can get. But yeah, so the cross member, like I said, it'll probably be somewhere in that area. Might be up just slightly, maybe an inch or so, and then have to find out how to connect it to here. Like I said, it'll be a plate, probably a 1/4 inch plate, so that'll be welded to here. And I think they welded, or they had 2 plates, so they pretty much built a K-member for it. So they plated off the frame rails, and I think when they built off of here, they welded on another plate and sandwiched them and bolted them together, so you could just drop the motor out. I'm pretty sure that's what I've seen in the pictures. I'll pull them up one more time. Yeah, so see, it's bolted together right there. I'm not sure if that's just for extra support or not. But yeah, definitely looks like 2 really big bolts, so you might look into doing it that way. And let me find another one to the front. I think there's one, and you could see where they tied it back in at. Maybe not. I'm not sure if they did, but it looks like it's welded in, so it might have tied it back in. It might not have. Oh yeah, so it's bolted up there. So, am I looking at that right? Yeah, so looks like they cut this out and they tied the new one into it. So yeah, they kind of built their own K-member, so I could do that. The only issue with that is when I drill the holes for the 2, which I guess I could do it, drill the holes ahead of time, get them all mated up, bolted together, and then build off of it, so that, yeah, rather than building it and trying to get the plate there and drill the holes to get them lined up and have them off a little bit. So I could do it that way, which that kind of makes more sense. So we'll look into doing it that way. I know it's a lot of talking, not a lot of work being done, but just want to take you guys through my thought process of how I'm going to do everything. But yeah, it's a little weird having to sit in there floating pretty much, but it's nice and secure. I could get the control arms out and start mocking them up, because I believe, what is it? Yeah, the control arms will be the same height as the center of the wheel, I think. Or no, it's a spindle. I'd have to watch some more videos, but it doesn't seem too hard to get the Mustang 2 front suspension in, as long as everything's lined up. I think I made the mistake, instead of buying a universal one, I bought one specific for a type of car, so I just have to adapt it a little bit. I think the universal ones will pretty much be a straight cut or straight here, where I like how this one flares out a little bit, so that's going to give me a little bit more room when it comes time to do the exhaust and all that. But yeah, that's probably it for today, just talking out loud. I know a lot of you guys don't watch this far, but if you do, I appreciate it. Yeah, that's all I have today. Like I said, the next couple of days I'll just be taking measurements, more measurements, get everything lined up, get that frame rail cut down, and that might be slightly taller than the frame rail that was meant for this car. But what I'll do is I'll just take it off of the top hats for the coilovers. So let's see. So these right here, I'll just take however much I need to, just a little bit away from it. It'll probably just be 1/8 inch right along there, and everything should line up, hopefully. But yeah, all this is pretty much all the front. Well, no, those are the axles, but 90% of this stuff is just all for the Mustang 2 front suspension. Left it all in the box and bags, so nothing goes missing. Hopefully everything is there, and get everything welded up, bolts together, and soon start on the back half. But like I said, we'll take it one step at a time. I'm not going to rush this process. I know I've taken a little break away from it, but it's always been in the back of mind. I've always been slowly getting back out here, cleaned up the garage a little bit, cleaned up all the dust and little pieces of metal from grinding and all that. So yeah, trying to have it somewhat organized. But yeah, that's the long talkative update on soon to be LS Swap PT Cruiser.